Ladies and gentlemen, juveniles and crocodiles, we have the program once every week on Sunday, and if you ever want to come to our wonderful country, no, I can't find the word for it.
Discussion?
City.
Oh.
Yeah. We're doing this program on Sunday morning, every Sunday morning. So anyway, let's go back with you. Now, you want to know about a child of 4 years old, if I remember it, and what is the question? I'm not quite getting the question.
When a little child, a young child, is diagnosed with some kind of an emotional problem, like...
They all have them, all have emotional problems, and it's all based on reacting to parents. At that age, because they're not going to school, so you can't blame school.
Right.
So it's the system. I keep saying always over and over again, when you come into the world comes into you. It's everybody except me. I don't know how that was, but we won't go into that right now. I'm a rare person. There's other rare persons in the beginning. But I have the knowledge in the beginning because the situation I was born into was good, clean. And so I was allowed to unfold like a flower and learn or discover for myself. That's the magic. The things that you are taught in school, the things that the technology of anything, everything can be discovered because of interest. And if you leave the child, if the child is not broken and has not lost, I'm going to find a word for this, not lost his intuition, which is the beginning of redemption. The purpose of a child, if I can just, it's coming out a different way from what you think, but every child, or 99 and 9/10%, are broken by the failing of their father to test them, to correct the mother, because he has no authority. He's just an animal in conflict with his human. And he wants something from her that's not good for him to have, but not even her to give. And so, when you come into the world, you have intuition 100%. I've had it 100% looking back. It wasn't, the 100% wasn't much because I'm just coming into the world and have to play with things. Playing with things that slowly but surely enable me to understand physics, and more than that, in physics I'm way ahead of what they don't know. I can prove it, never mind that. But you can get to understand what you would otherwise learn, and learning is dangerous. Learning from anybody is dangerous. You need to have the ability to see if what that person's saying understands it himself or not. The whole idea of intuition is the beginning of coming towards redemption. In other words, the child is going to, God has made a situation where a child can come into the world innocent. Every child coming into the world is innocent, and there's 100% intuition, 100% clear. But as soon as they come into the world from the mother, which is the extension of her mother, which is the extension of her mother's 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 mother's, all the way back to Eve, without a husband, because he's born of a woman too, and then is drawn back to the woman, and all hell breaks loose, looking for love from her. So what you've got is two parents. In the Jewish Ten Commandments, it says, honor your mother and father, that the days may be long on the land the Lord God giveth thee, something like that. And visiting the iniquities of the third and fourth generation, I think it's something like that. But why does it say it's only 10 commandments? Why did it say, honor your mother and father, when they're all bastards, degenerates, crazy, and not even knowing they're crazy? And that's what I'm saying. The time you get to be married, or on the way there, you will have lost faith. What you will have had is guilt, no, there's another word I want to say. I want to find that word. It's not guilt, it's doubt. Doubt is the opposite of faith. And it's opposite. In other words, what has come through the parents, with a failing father to correct the mother that needs to be corrected and is looking for something, whether she wants to or not. But most of the women, they want to look for love. There's got something. They don't know what love is, but they know that something is, and a man is supposed to have that. But they don't, when they come into the world from a woman, it's not like coming in the world from God himself for the first man, Adam. It's back upside down, but wonderfully upside down. So the child comes into the world. As he gets old enough, which is maybe a year or 2 years old, he or she sees the craziness of their parents, who cannot see it themselves. They cannot, and they will not. I've been married 64 years. She still doesn't get it. Enough to drive a person right up the pole. I'm all right with that. Because pain and suffering is essential. So the child comes into the world, sees what the parents never see, or rarely ever understand this. I think most of you understand what I'm saying here, not so? Say yes.
Yes.
Or no. But you see, the beauty. I don't know why I'm coming from you with a question I'm not sure is going to be satisfying. But I think what I'm going to say will cover it. Every child that comes into the world has intuition. Intuition is being taught. The same thing you could otherwise learn with the knowledge of good and evil. The knowledge of good and evil, what you learn and are pressured, pushed, is me. I have to blow my nose.
Have a seat also. Sit down.
Oh, I'm okay standing up. You couldn't get that, take that out of the... What are you laughing at? But the thing, well, let's go again, a little bit more. There's every little piece. So the child perceives, not just sees, perceives the injustice of the parent, that the parents never see. You can't hardly make them see. They all think, the woman thinks she's okay, And the man looking for love, he thinks he's okay. And it's not, it's upside down. The relationship, he loves her, she loves him back, he loves her, she doesn't do it, take it back. Divorce, 80% now in America. Their children are lost. But in the very beginning, it's the very beginning, and the children see what the parents don't see about themselves. They think fondling the child is love. Not necessary. It's a longing to enjoy the love of a baby, loving and crying and looking for mom. See, and she gets a thrill out of that. There's something else I want to say. Now I have to say the same thing again, because the same thing again leads to other concepts. The child sees it and sees the injustice and sees the cruelty and is shocked by the impatience of the parents or the pushiness of the parent to learn, to become a good boy, et cetera, et cetera. All of that would unfold like a flower, just if she'd watch it and just take care he doesn't fall into the pond or something like that. But the point is, they think they have to do something for the children and pressure them, or, you know what I'm trying to say. Because you're going to cough and I'm going to do the same thing.
So, as you're speaking, what I'm seeing in myself is that I happen to be talking about a grandchild of mine.
What?
I'm talking about my grandchild.
Yes.
So what I'm seeing right now is that I can see that he can see the craziness in his mother,
yes.
because I'm just now seeing it
Yes.
for myself.
Yes.
And I realize that I put it into her, who's now putting it into him.
Well, wait a minute. You've discovered it, but you've put it in, or you're putting it in.
Well, I might still be, but I can see what I've done. I know I'm getting better. So, but what I just saw.
How old is she now?
Who?
The young child.
He's 4.
And a female or male?
He's a boy.
A boy. And so, has he lived with you a long time, or you just see him every now and then?
I see him every day.
Every day. And he stays with you every day?
No, but I watch him a couple times a week.
And so, and your relationship is still improper?
No, I do my very best to
What
give.
does that mean?
I ask him. I try to treat him as a man. I do.
Give me an example.
I don't know.
No, I can tell you what it is.
Okay.
Make sure your voice is in your voice. Why have you found me? Is something in my voice.
Yes.
And in addition to that, being here is the presence of what's in me.
Yes.
So I don't have to say much when I come into a room.
Well, that's what I was going to just say to you. What I see is that I'm always guilty of everything, like it's my fault because I put it into her. And what I just saw as you were speaking to me is that that guilt is causing doubt, which is stopping me from allowing God to direct me.
Well, that's an interesting statement. But you have a problem of realizing that of yourself you do not know how to deal with it. Is that a point? That you don't know how to deal with her? Or him? I keep.
No, that's not the point. The point is that I see it happening.
See what happened?
I see the craziness coming through my daughter, my craziness that I put there. Because I see my craziness now, and I'm changing.
All right.
She hasn't seen her craziness yet.
And she's 4 years old.
No. She's my daughter. So she's 30.
Oh,
My grandson is 4. So I'm watching my daughter.
now I get the whole.
craziness
Now I
go
get the
into my
whole story.
grandson.
Yeah, I was missing that.
Okay.
So you're talking about the 4-year-old.
Correct.
All right. But just let me hear again, since I got tangled up with who's who.
Okay.
How do you deal with this 4-year-old child? What is your emotion? Is there emotion? Is there not emotion? Is emotion repressed?
Well, as I'm talking to you, I believe that I felt some guilt and that it's my responsibility to help him.
All right. But now, having said that, how do you help him?
Well, that's what I'm seeing right
you don't
now.
know. You don't know how to help him, do you? This is why you're asking the question. You don't know how
No.
to deal with him.
No.
You don't know how to deal with this man. There's a man in this male child.
I do a little. I do feel like I'm aware not to hurt him, not to demoralize him. I am aware of that.
Yeah, but you can demoralize him by not being strong enough. By being kind.
Okay.
Being too kind.
Okay.
And compensate.
Yes.
That's bad.
Okay.
So you got two bads.
Okay.
You love him or you get angry with him. The love is no good because it isn't real love.
Okay.
There's something missing in you. But that's not your fault. You're the extension of your parents. That's what you became. And that child is in danger of losing his manliness. The best thing for you to do is don't say too much. Just watch him. And the only thing you need to do when you see him in danger, in some kind of silly danger, you must just quietly say, what's his name?
London.
London?
Yes.
No wonder he's got a problem. I think he needs to change his name. How about calling him Roy? Well, basically, you have no feeling at all. You must understand, as long as you have emotion, you're going to be killed and you're going to kill. It never stops. It's the original sin. However, this will be in respect to you, even though you're old and ugly. Excuse the expression. I don't mean to just...
Okay.
The little child knows more about life than you do. And he can see your failing. He senses it. He may, like myself, not be bothered by it, which is wonderful, but it's unlikely. Because I don't know much about his mother and father. I only know the relationship between you and him. What you need to do is meditate and get rid of all the emotion. Emotion is a killer. You can suppress it, you can hide it, but you can't hide it from the little child. He sees it and he will resent you for it. He's lucky if he doesn't. I came into the world and never resented anybody. I didn't notice that. I didn't notice it was to me it was just normal. Oh, it's a silly fool, an angry person. I look at them. It was like that all my life. Now I can be strong, but not wrong strong. See this? I'll use it if I have to. I have a strong voice. I'll use it. See, I'm not angry. A strong voice. And that kind of voice, gentle or strong, however is whatever is needed, the child will recognize that you're coming from God. But if you have emotion, it's the opposite. When you get upset, it means turning around upset. the front becomes the end, and the end becomes the front. And so every child that comes into the world, with a rare exception, has intuition and a potential for redemption, which is the purpose. And so don't worry about the purpose of parents being cruel to their parents, children being irritated with the children. They will have to suffer from that, which is not a bad thing. How many people have doubt when they came into the world? Look at you, all of you. Everybody had doubt. And doubt is the opposite of a relationship with the devil, if I may use that word. And you cannot serve two masters. You can serve the dark side with your doubt. Doubt is equivalent to faith. And so there's a relationship inside you that's coming through the parent, and not deal with properly with the father who's looking for love himself. There isn't love. It's degeneration. The relationship is always degenerate in some way. And so therefore, the child that has now doubt has conflict with his human. See that? You cannot cure it. But what you can, not to add to it. And if you find a way to be as I suggest, which you can come in a matter of fraction of seconds, you see that you are pushing, you see that you're trying to make him yourself good to him. There is no such thing as you being good, everything bad. How can I say?
Happens for good. Happens for good.
No, you can't forgive.
No, happens for good. Everything bad happens for good for those that love the Lord.
Is that how it says?
Yeah.
Say it again.
Everything bad happens for good for those.
Oh, yes, yes. I did. The distance, I missed a piece of.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Everything bad happens for good. The bad has to happen. The child basically has, the value is for me, I didn't have all that. That's good. But mostly they do, they have all that. You come into the world, you can see everybody sitting in that room responded to their parents, and parents. And therefore you lose, the child loses the relationship which is in the future has redemption of paradise lost. In other words, you can become perfect as your Father in heaven. Be ye therefore perfect as the Father in heaven is perfect. And if you ask the priests, the Bible says, be perfect. They say, no, you can't be perfect. No, it says become perfect. It's a becoming thing. It's a little bit at a time. As you grow older and older and older, the intuition is there. Some people, the intuition is never going to be there. They have chosen never to be there. They've actually chosen to remain as a doubting Thomas, creating other people to suffer the same way as them and enjoy it. So if the child comes in the world and is a beautiful child, they begin to hate the child because he's the dark side of he's chosen in some mysterious way to be that way to the children, and is jealous of the innocence of the children, literally jealous of a child who says, Mama, innocence, that's innocence. And so lots of people, I mean, you have all kinds of horrible experiences. There's hundreds of them. I don't have to, I sit here, it'll be all afternoon, but just naming them what they are. all the suffering in the world is one thing. Who do you love? You love the bully that's going to appease her. You're going to give your life to the bully, which is like the devil. And the devil will rise and tell you, you must now make yourself a better person. And you try, and you cannot do it. And then you try it again, and you cannot do it. And so on and so forth. So you are at a place now that you're responsible only for one thing. Your emotion, the presence of your emotion puts pressure on the child, even if you don't say much. It's there. It radiates physically and intellectually. He knows it. He hears it in your voice. He hears it in your emotions. It's there. And you're struggling with it and trying to be better, but you're not getting any better because it's not real. Does anybody understand that?
I do, yes.
It's good, isn't it? So when it says honor your mother and father, that the days may be long in the land the Lord our God giveth thee. In the Ten Commandments, there's not much to say, just 10 commandments. But that one stands out. Why is he saying that? Because all you need to know is your parents, as demonic as they are, you realize they came into the world and the world got into them and they never, ever overcome it. They involve themselves more deeper and doing to others what was done to them, and they don't see anything wrong. They feel superior to the people they degrade and feel superior and hostile towards them, judging like God judges, but it's all upside down, isn't it? Judgment is mine, saith the Lord. It's beautiful, but what I'm jumping back again and back forwards is the fact that doubt will last for a little while, a period of time, depending upon your intuition and the searching for the meaning. You will always be suffering from that and always trying to fix it in an honest way, but they don't know what the honest way is. And so even the child that's been broken when it comes into the world, as I explained it just now, they will have sufferings. I've had tremendous sufferings, tremendous. What I learned, what I came into the world with, was what I'm trying to tell you, that when you came into the world, you were caused to doubt, which is upside down. Doubt has the same power to do evil as the same. So the more you get upset, the more being upset means turned around backwards. In other words, instead of going forward and becoming a better person, every time you get upset, it's the other way around. You got more and more doubt. And if you could stop that, you'd have more and more and more light. I see. Everywhere. I can look at the physics. I see. Oh, I see that. I can just talk about there's one thing I can just say about how the universe began. I'm not going to do it today because I've talked to you about this before. But they just recently, in physics, they are just beginning to understand that gravity is not, what's the word for it? It's fundamental. It's not. They're considering, they always thought that gravity was the fundamental. electromagnetism and long and weak nuclear forces. Those other three. See, they're just beginning to consider maybe there's something more fundamental. I got that years ago. The only danger is that it becomes religious. Well, listen to my logic. How does something that they know was in the beginning, which is the void? In the beginning there was a void, nothing. How did nothing produce infinitely hot? They call that a singularity. That's a name in physics that makes it more down to earth and more belonging to the dark side of a person. But truly, it is the same thing as let there be light. Where did it come from? They have to deal with that, with me. How did something infinitely cold make anything? There's got to be something beyond that. But it's in your heart. That's where you'll find it. You're not going to run around in the universe and try to find it out there. It's in here. The animals don't have that. It's called awareness. And the awareness begins to, as you go through life, you've inherited sin. You haven't made sin. You don't know you have sin. But you're uncomfortable and you're looking for the answer and you try to fix yourself. You try to be nice to other people, but you can't be nice to other people. You can't help anybody because you're not any good. But you want to do the good, but there is no good in it. You could be nicer and nicer and nicer. You're getting spoiled and rotten. You can't see it. Who's understanding this? This is a good question. It's a good question. To go over and over again. Now my job, my purpose is to come down to something very simple. Be still. Stop struggling. Of yourself you can do nothing. Of myself. Jesus says this. Of myself I can do nothing. The Father within me, He has the love. If I've changed the one word, love, but I assume that it is love. There's no love in this world. It doesn't exist. The world cannot contain, cannot give you what can come from within you, intuitiveness. You still have the intuitiveness, but it's kind of lost in emotions. It's there. And that's the reason why you get better here. I'm not going to tell you how to be this way. All I'm saying, forgive. No, the word forgive is not good. Only God forgives. God judges, God forgives. You can't forgive anybody. All you do is spoil them. That's all.
I think our only job is just to see our own sin, because as you've been speaking, I can just see doubt everywhere inside.
Yes, of course.
And that being the driving factor in my life, then like you said, you feel bad, you try to fix it. So the forgiveness doesn't need to go to my mother in my own personal story. Right now, I need to,
I know what
I'm sorry.
I know.
I need to find it for my own self.
All right, very simple.
Sorry.
Go find it your own self, of course. But I just say, understand this. Your mother didn't understand it and wouldn't understand it. She would not admit she is wrong. There are most people do not want to admit they're wrong. They want to be right. Well, it's a good thing in one way, but it's not a good thing in the way I'm explaining that. They want to make the wrong right. And that's worse. You can make your wrong right and try to be a good person. Yeah. But there is no good. you can't create good. You can't create the love you lost. You have to find it. And you have to be still and know that I am God. That's what it means. That is what Roy Masters found. The 7-minute meditation, guess what? I'll share it with you because it's so beautifully simple. But so beautifully simple, you might want to forget it. It can't be that simple. See? When you close your eyes. Have you ever seen pictures of paintings of famous, what do you call it?
Early Christians?
Huh?
Early Christians?
Yeah, but no, just pictures, paintings of people holding their hands together and looking up.
Yes.
I always said, what's that? Why is this like this? Why is this? What is in that? A simplicity, a magnificent simplicity of those who love, long for the Lord, long for a purpose. I don't like one myself, but other people like themselves. They're self-righteous. And there's a war going on. You come into the world, all the other kids get broken, you don't, and you're still shining. You see that? And you're still looking at and still shining, but the parents can see it, and the kids, the broken kids, your brothers and sisters, it's become them and see you and hate you for the good that's still there. And you don't understand why. Why? That's all right, don't worry about it. Don't worry about this. You've got to get a grip on the fact that those children are now the extension of their parents. And who knows which will want to choose to continue doubting and causing other people to doubt, so you are stronger than them. See? And doing unto others what was done unto you. It's all very mysterious, but everybody in this room, I think, is longing for the simplicity, the magic of something, of yourself. You can do nothing. It was done to you, and you didn't do it on purpose. You had that beautiful simplicity when you come into the world. Intuition, ready to unfold forever, never stops. It never stops. It never stops discovering. It never stops. But when you're discovering, you're erasing what was the degenerate part. And you're clear, and you see more. And the more you see, the more you will see. And it never stops. And every time you live that way, and here is the situation, you will stand out as different from everybody around you. And therefore, you will draw cruelty to you. And you, having forgiven your parents or having let go and recognize the things that I'm saying, unless you let your parents go, you're going to die that way. And you're going to kill the next generation with your fake love. Who understands that? I think I made a point. So, do you resent your mother? You resent your father? They didn't know what they're doing, but they did it to you. And when you understand, they have lost their way and died. And you're still alive, and you're going to live forever. The purpose is to live forever, because when you come into the world, you come into a dangerous world. And if you follow your intuition, which is there, and causing you to be a little bit brighter than anybody else, which disturbs everybody else who have gone the other way, you will be a target always I'm a target all the time. It's a bigger and bigger target. And the more I deal with it properly, the more people are upset just by my presence and what I speak. And they get angry and hateful. But I don't get hateful back. Judgment is mine, saith the Lord. I will pay back. If I get upset means back to front. Upset. Not upset is possible only when you sit and find meditation, be still and know, you will know God. And there you have found him. And so to give you a little intellectual aspect, you have a brain like an animal, not much different. What you got is intuition. You have a soul. You have a spirit. And the spirit or the soul is disconnected. It's disconnected from God, and it clings to the brain, and the brain then being in the world and of the world, is subject to the dark side of the force. And therefore, if you don't understand how to find God, which is what you seek, the purpose of God, he wants you to live forever. He wants you to live forever, but you have to choose. Adam chose the wrong way. Now you can choose the right way. That's it. You're free. So when you meditate, the great simplicity is being still. And it's simple. All you do is look at your eyelids. And there's something of a light that shines on your eyelids. And it disconnects you from the brain and introduces you to your Creator again. That's all. Nothing more. Who understands that? It's there. There's nothing for you to do. Nothing. So God talks. Let me make myself more than I am for a minute. God speaks to me exactly in the opposite of the dark side, speaking to those who have lost their way. In other words, he gives me words to say, and gives me the understanding for the moment. This is the moment. I came in and I didn't know what we're going to talk about. Look where we're going. It's what you're here for. And it was what I appreciate saying over and over again, because I understand the beauty of it, the simplicity of it. So you don't have to struggle. You mustn't struggle. You can't save yourself by struggling. Calm. But how do you get calm? Be still. Because if you have a car going backwards, you have to stop to go forward. It can't be possible to do both at once. Be still and know I am God. Still. Now what is still? Coming back to the point. Close your eyes. And the world affecting the brain like a monkey. You're programmed like a monkey, but monkeys are not programmed. They are monkey and they babble and babble and babble and jump in trees and kill each other, and it's perfectly normal. They're not even aware that they exist. You are aware that you exist, and you exist for something. But the trouble is you're surrounded by crazy people who will never find it. And they hate you because you shine. And you can't see any shining, but that's what happens. It shines. And it affects the person that's observing you. And they try to upset you. And the more noble you are, the calmer you get. This is an opportunity for not reacting to get back to the person. The whole idea is the more you are in situations of cruelty and injustice. They steal from you, beat you, whatever it is. But as you grow older, you develop, when you find the truth, the simple thing of being still, whatever that means, where you disconnect from the world, spirit, and connect to the Creator. And so the brain now functions from within. It gets its words, its intuition, its future. And the future is already made for you. Everlasting life. And where you see, I'm in the ground. Does it mean to say I'm in the ground? It's the medium by which intuition becomes reality that no one can see. But you'll find yourself there accordingly, one way or the other, in the darkness forever or in the light forever. And the shape of it is shaped by the darkness of doubt and the lightness of reality. See, nothing to it. Nothing to it. Nothing to it. Only the longing and understanding what this means and what looking at your eyelids mean. It's still. You know why it's still? Because in the universe, nothing is still. Einstein said, nothing is still. But the singularity, let there be light, the singularity in physics is out there still. It doesn't move. Universe, zzz, but it's being zzz with this. If you have a, we blow up something, but a balloon, and you have a universe for one breath. But if you're inside the balloon, you can't put more in. You have to eat. You're not going to get any further. The power is outside us. That's it. Universe. But you don't want to be the part of the universe. Universe has been corrected so you can find Him. Multiplying. Adam, 1, did it all back to front. 2, man born of woman has a potential of finding the truth that sets you free. You can play with it as much as you want and make lots of mistakes, and eventually you will give yourself to the dark side, like Hitler and all the others, or an angel. That's what you are inside, an angel, taking shape. So when your body is gone, you'll find yourself in some other place. That's it. Oh, yes.
Yes, I have a question / problem. You talked about your relationship with Anne and how...
Relationship with what?
With your wife, with Anne.
Yes.
Okay. And you said that it almost drove you crazy.
No, it didn't drive me crazy.
Well, you almost. I mean,
no,
that it could
doesn't
have.
almost.
Okay.
Never.
Okay. Okay.
Never.
Sorry about that.
I've already learned it a long time ago. I had it as a child, never lost it.
All
but
right.
see, I can be strong, but not wrong strong.
But
There's
it,
one thing about it with angry strong, and then there's a good strong. You're going to stand your ground, and you'd better shut up before you drop dead trying to get me upset. The more you try to upset me, the better I become. I need that. I don't decide which one it is, but that's what it is. The more you get stronger, the more He will give you another situation. and you lose all your money or you lose your health, don't react. Calm. Feel the pain and not hurt it and not be hurt by it. Suffer quietly. It's just pain. Pain, pain, suffering, not resenting it. Not resenting it. It's pain. I'll take care of that pain. It's pain. I will go along with that pain and find out what it's trying to tell me. That is just the words, but I can only play with a few words to make the point. I have never resented all my suffering. Never one time. That is how I have grown. To understand, to share with you. Understand that life for a good person is suffering. And suffering is good. But not good if you're trying to fix the suffering to make yourself better. You can try, and mostly you will. And then you give up on that, because the more you try to be a good person, the worse you get. You can't give it to yourself. You cannot. You don't need to. Redemption is waiting for you to stop struggling. Stop looking for people. Stop looking for systems. Yes, you look for systems, but it doesn't get to the point, because all the systems are based on one tree with different kinds of fruit on them. Drugs, alcohol, food is the worst one. Food is the most dangerous, but it's also connected to paradise lost. So you don't want to eat too much food. You don't want to enjoy the food and misuse the purpose of food. Be careful, because half the country dies from that. But food is connected. That is the most beautiful part, is food. You have to eat. And if you eat of the trees of the knowledge of good and evil, if you know what I mean, misuse food, make it a pleasure, and feel good about yourself. That's a drug. All of it's drugs. The technology of science, drugs, drugs, drugs. But if you could find yourself, you will become perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. It's a becoming thing, another becoming thing, another becoming thing. And then someone shoots you, kills you, whatever it is, you die to live. Yes?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Roy. I was just trying to make a point.
I may have lost you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Just dish it up again.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let me start from someplace else. There is a relationship in my life that has haunted me all of my life. Okay?
Yes.
And this was the first man I fell in love with, the man I gave my virginity to, the man I was deeply in love with, and the man that I ran away from. And I was talking to somebody, and he was making an analogy between particle physics, that when two atoms are bound or something, or two electrons.
I'm not quite sure. Can anybody help what she's saying?
I'm trying to say there's this bond with this person over years and years and years and years that I can't quite get over.
Yeah, in other words, you fell in love.
Yes.
You fell in love. Then you're stuck. You can't fall in love and get out of it.
Well, I was 19.
No, there's no way out.
I was 19 years old. Yeah. Okay, I got it.
And then you start being resentful because you feel the presence of the other person and you feel rejected by the other person or something like that. And you, in your mind, you get angry. And when you get angry, thinking that you can fix it with being angry, it gets worse. And the more it gets worse, the more you think about it. And the more you think about it,
well,
the more you resent it.
okay, in this particular circumstance,
Yeah.
Can I explain that this was probably 40 or 50 years ago?
Yeah, I understand that.
So she says that it's stuck with her whole life.
I understood that.
Just making sure.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Adam.
yeah.
You know, the older you get, the more hateful and troubled you're going to be. You cannot cure it. You fell in love. You fall in love. Both of you fall. As in the opening of our discussion today, what have I said? I said, when you come into the world comes into you. Some people see what's happening, to make it clear, is that the voice that has spoken to you, parent, the voice is the extension of Paradise Lost all the way back. Your parents and your parents' parents, and there it goes, all the way back. Everyone does to others what was done to them, and they can't stop it. They don't even realize it. The parents cannot realize. They don't want to realize how wrong they are. But you're willing to realize what's wrong with you, and you're looking for the answer. That's different. A teeny weeny little thing. One is evil, one is good. It is redemption. This is the way God has created numbers of people. From people, for everything. He says, because you have done this thing to Adam, you will be bonded to your woman as one flesh. Man is part woman and part man. He's not man enough to deal with a woman. The woman is all woman, he's only half a man. She always is in charge, whether she likes to be in charge or not. And she hates being in charge. How many women hate being in charge? Oh, look at that. You hate being there. It's crazy. But hating doesn't cure it. Knock it off.
They get addicted to love hating it.
Yes, it's a love-hate thing, isn't it?
So,
Yes,
so
continue.
is my problem then resenting this person from way back many, many years
Yes,
ago?
you still resent that person.
Because I
And-
can't
and the reason why you
unbind
still-
myself.
the
He's
reason
still in
why-
my heart.
You have to project your sin to another person. You made the mistake. And the mistake may be not your fault, because you had parents that make mistakes and not know they're making mistakes. They think they love you. They think that when they slap you and pressure you, they're giving you an education and they're doing good for you. None of that is real. When you come into the world, you have to have the wisdom. You have to be pure. But who is pure? Why do you get married? To screw each other. Correct?
Yes.
That's it. He screws her, she screws him. They poison each other. And the children see it. And mother wins. Mother always wins. And so everybody takes the extension of that and walking in their shoes or not. Not wanting to. Or wanting to because it gives you the power that your mother had. So you can do unto others what was done to you, and you can feel very pleased about yourself and angry. You're never kids, you don't love you anymore. See? Blah, blah, black sheep, have you on your wall. I'm saying it over and over again, but the principle is, you have to have so many words to get to you to see that of yourself you can do nothing. Absolutely nothing. But nothing is something. It's like the car. It's going backwards. It has to stop to go forwards. It has to stop. Where is the stop? Be still. Stop. Stop fussing. Stop being angry. Stop being annoyed. Stop being resentful. Stop drinking. But then you'll stop drinking if you have come to that sensibility. Sensibility. That's all there is to it. of yourself, you can do nothing. But at the same time, when the scriptures say, and the ministers speak about this, the scripture says, be still and know I'm God. And it also says in another place, it says you become perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. You become. And you can't become until you make the first step. And the first step is this. That's what it is. But it doesn't tell you what it is. But I found that. I just saw, be still and know. What my physics helped me to understand. There is no stillness. You have time, don't you? Time moves at 186,000 miles per second. It's still moving. You can't find stillness in this universe. Everything is moving. Everything is moving. Only the singularity outside the universe, beyond the infinitely cold. He puts that heat that still exists. It exists absolutely still outside, but forever blowing up the balloon of the universe, which goes on forever. Don't believe the scientists. It never's going to stop. Never. There's another purpose of this which we know not. I was just teaching myself something. Yeah. Everybody got a little piece of that? Anybody would like to make a comment? You haven't grasped my point? You're still hating.
I know I shouldn't have fallen in love, but I did fall in love.
Say?
I should not have fallen in love.
No,
perhaps
yes,
if
but
I
what
had
you
been
should have not.
wise.
But you did it,
But I did.
and you can't undo it.
And I can't. And there, when a man and woman join and become one flesh, when there's something mystical that happens there.
Well, it's all mystical.
Yeah. So how do you get over that ever
No,
in your life?
I keep saying you can't. There's no how. There's no how. Oh, no how. No how.
So
no
can,
how.
can I never marry again or have a relationship? Because I
Well,
feel I can never have a relationship
No,
with another man.
It's obvious that if you get married again, you're going to do the same thing again. You can't stop. You cannot stop, because when you marry, you're looking for something that a person cannot give you.
But can you marry and still? So
You'll
nobody
make the
should
same
be
mistake
married like
over and over again. You want something to make you feel better than you really are.
Should nobody ever marry?
Huh?
Should nobody ever marry in that case?
Well, I'm not sure if I want to talk about that. But a lot of people, there are people that never want to be married because they have stuff outside they can take anytime they want to, or they're just afraid of women. But the person, as a man being afraid of women, he still has women in his head, and he has sex with women in his head. You don't know about that. Maybe we'll have another discussion about that.
What about women?
Well, women the same way, same thing. They will keep reacting in their head over and over again. My wife has resented me from the day I got married. Over and over again I saw it. Over and over again I saw it. 65 years pass. She still doesn't get it. That's it. Am I angry? No. Am I upset? No. Do I continue? She doesn't want to hear it. It's simple. I'm okay with it. I don't get upset about it. But upset is what she wants from me, unconsciously. And it's a game. A man failed her. And he's a person that took ladies improperly and have sex in bed, in her bed, all that kind of stuff. But I'm a man. She sees me as a man. And she sees what a man has failed to do. And she's going to make sure she's going to do everything right. And she's going to, but I'm a man. She doesn't consider where I'm coming from. That's difficult for her. In other words, it affects her. My presence affects her because I am the right kind of man. And but the point is, she's wrong. And therefore, every time I try to make a point, she makes the excuse. And there's an argument. Now, the argument is often. The whole idea is for her to get me upset. It always ends by making her worse. She can't walk. She can't function. She has lost her memory. I've gone through much worse than that because she only has me. I have nothing else but misery and suffering my whole life. But I don't remember it. I don't see it as misery and suffering. I see it as, I see that. I'm not going to say this, but I've learned, without having to explain it, I didn't need explaining, not to let me be upset. Because upset means upside down, back to front. I didn't know that, but because I came into the world in a good family, I wasn't disturbed. I kept my intuition and faith I didn't know I had. I didn't know I was different from any other person until I began to understand this. How did Hitler do all that to the German people, Nazis, and killing and making them? They're just ordinary people. How did he do this? This is a long story. I understand this. But look what you can do. Look what one man can do. Turn you into murderers, killers. 150 million people murdered. 6 million Jewish people, just in one. There's more. What about people dying in war? See? Yes.
I like what you said. It was the whole explanation to me
Speak louder.
is that you said, let me see if I can say this right, that we women project our mistake
Unconsciously.
onto the man. And I realized that I did this. I put all my pain and suffering that I had up to that point in my life on my husband like he had done it himself.
And there it is. And he does not know how to deal with it. Listen, have you ever seen on the screen, mostly on the screen, looking for a nice place for old mother? And they have angels to take care of her, which costs you a lot of money? Why is it always women? Why isn't it do with men? Because they've all dropped dead. Yeah. She murdered all of them. Made them run out the house. She won't take correction.
Another one.
Am I right?
Can I add to that?
Yes.
As what I learned myself is when you blame somebody else for your suffering, everybody has their own suffering when they come into the world.
That's right.
We all make our own mistakes. But I spent my whole life blaming everybody around me, anybody.
Yes.
And that's what keeps you from seeing your mistake.
Yes. Judgment. When you judge, you feel powerful.
I wondered why I was stuck.
Do
all
you
these
understand what I
years.
just said? I understand. Judgment. is a woman who is being beaten. Oh, it's okay. Thank you. A woman who is being beaten and hate. She can hate him in such a way that it becomes judgment. And judgment is mine, saith the Lord. So if you want to continue judging, then play God and go to hell for it. And neither can you forgive. I just tell you a story, maybe I told it to you before. I have lots of seminars over the years, and 10 years of seminars for this person 10 years ago, he didn't get anything for his money in my seminar. I said, well, so why are you coming to me? She said, I've been resenting you all this time. You never take notice of me. I said, it's not my business to take notice of you. Open your mouth and I'll help you. He said, can you forgive me? I resent you. I said, no. He said, you're a minister and you can't forgive me? I said, no, I can't. I never judge you. And therefore, I don't have to forgive you. That's it. I'm free. Simple. It's all simple. There's nothing to it. But it's nothing to it. It's not correct. Not perfectly correct. But it's a point, isn't it? There's nothing to it for you. But you see, the only place there is something still is in your intuition. It's in the realm of the soul, which gives you awareness. Understanding what the leaves are physically, or enjoying it magnificently because you know there's a God somewhere. It gives you that how does a blade of grass know how to be a blade of grass? So the cows eat it and it craps it out. Excuse the expression. It's still the manure makes it makes it even better. So you could apply that to your life too.
But that is the truth, because as the shit comes out, something beautiful grows.
In a manner of speaking. Have we resolved anything here? Are we resolving it?
Yep.
What does it mean to do nothing? You can't do nothing without knowing what that nothing is.
Well, for the first time, there was an absolute, I don't know why I cry all the time, but anyways, there was an absolute stillness. There was an absolute stillness.
What's that last word?
Stillness.
Oh, stillness, yes.
There was an absolute stillness.
Yes.
So that's all there is, just like you said. And so
That's the only solution.
In the simplicity of it, because there's so much garbage inside of me.
Well, it comes up, and
It
then
does
you look
come
at
up.
it. No, when you come up, it comes up. And when you look at it, you don't resent it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. My parents couldn't help it. My parents' couldn't. Their great. None of them could see it.
Well,
Forgive
because-
them, Father, for they know not what they do. What was the thing that Jesus cried out? He made a big, the only thing he says to everybody. What was it?
Father, for they know not what they do.
Yeah, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. You understand that you have the grace, you have what they never had. You can actually hear when Jesus says, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Caesar is involved with that. He not knows what he does. He just enjoys pleasure, degrading other people to lift himself up. And it's always becomes worse and worse and worse. But the worse he becomes, the more the more evil appears on in this world. The person becomes uglier and uglier and hungrier and hungrier. And this hunger is like a love for a person. Hunger. And the pressure of that causes people to give themselves hundreds and thousands, and then he loves you as you are and turns you around so you hate the innocent, which are in a minority. Always. If I was in another country, I'd be dead by now. America allows me to say these things. If Jesus would come here, they would have surely killed him, even in America. And guess who would kill them? Christians. You just said mechanical. Mostly mechanical. Knowledge of good, knowledge of evil. Know all the Bible. Study. Oh, look how much he understands the Bible. Oh, he's such a wonderful person. I want to go to that church and learn from him. Learn from nobody. Meaning intuition. You see what the person is good, even if the person is bad, what he's doing is good. You can separate that. You see right through everything. You never miss a trick. And it's all by itself. It's all, so I'm speaking from within. The people in the dark side have a within themselves which is opposite. So a voice speaks to your brain in the dark side as much as it does in the bright side. It looks like I'm talking, I'm not. When I get home, I can't talk. No, I have lots of bad memories. I have bad memories.
Not bad memories, bad memory.
Memories?
No. You have a bad memory.
What did he say?
You have a bad memory, not bad memories.
Oh, about yes. Yeah, but it's not much different because memories can keep going. Yeah, the memories can keep going. There's hundreds of them. And you can have, oh, there's another one. Oh, I see it. Free. Don't fight. Don't take. But the trouble is, it comes again and it torments you. And you hate that. And you fight it. And it gets more deeply instilled into you until you die. Of yourself, of myself, I can do not. Even him said that. Of myself, I can do nothing. The Father within me, he gives you love. There is no love except in that realm inside you that's stuck to your brain and subject to the world because of it. Disconnect it, be still. But the stillness is the magic. There's no time where God is. It's forever where he is. No time. The time you use on earth changes your soul. It shines forever. So when you leave this world, you don't know you're dead. Or it's possible that you will somehow, with the magicalness of a God, you have to understand that to be able to make this universe out of nothing is magic. He can do what the heaven he wants. Anything. I'm a good magician. I'm losing my skills. I can make you feel like, how's that? How does he do this? You see, I can do magic. I don't mess around with my own family. I see little bits and pieces. I can spend a whole day doing tricks and having a good laugh. They just can't see it. It's equivalent to magic. But I understood by that there is a magic I haven't got it. I've just got the imitation of it. But it's fun, though. And I know God, it's a lot of fun giving us all these wonderful things to see, which always go back to Him, doesn't it? The blade of grass, the dirt in the ground. It is beautiful. It's incomprehensibly beautiful. What you have in you is going to guide you towards Him. That's all. And it's a beautiful life. Nobody can touch you. Yes, they can strip you and they can beat you up, but the fact of that, I've never had anybody to beat me up. For some reasons, I never was able, it never succeeded.
Because it can't touch that stillness. Huh? Nothing can touch that stillness that's inside of us. And it feels like for the very first time in my life, there's faith today. I never saw the purpose of meditating. I knew I was supposed to meditate and be still and know God. But until today, I actually saw the stillness and believed in the stillness.
Yes.
Yeah. So all this other stuff, like you said, is nothing.
Listen, nothing is something. Mm-hmm. It's a no thing, but it is something.
Yeah. So it's just interesting because all this other trivial stuff, it also is seeing that it's nothing, as I'm believing in Christ.
No, you have to be aware that your guilt is not your fault. If you hold on to the fact that it's your fault, too bad for you. Okay. But if you can recognize you're the extension of your mother and father, mostly mother, and the failing of father, for which reason she's the mother she is.
And then I'm the one that I am.
Yes, but see, the very fact that you can see that, which your parents cannot see or will not see, they'd rather have you dead than admit they're wrong. That is the proclivity of most people, nearly all of us. If you look at the faces of people, when I came to America, people were dying earlier because for various reasons. But if you look in the streets, in the old Movietone news, you have Movietone news here. You won't see any fat people. And what you'll see when I came a long time ago was sweet, beautiful people, real people, gentle people. There's always good and bad, but mostly everywhere you went, gracious, beautiful. And I've seen it getting worse and worse and worse. We're on the thresh of civil war. I came from Los Angeles to here because this is the place where there's no fallout. There's only 3 places in the world, one here, one in Russia, and one I don't know where it is. There will not be, that's why I'm here. I gave up lots of money, lots of wonderful things I could do to come here. And when I came here, they want to kill me.
Well, I appreciate the fact that you came here.
Yeah, I didn't care whether they want to kill me or not. Yeah, they can't. They die trying. They die trying. When you don't get upset, is the evidence that you have the eternal self within you. It radiates, and it has no words. It doesn't speak. But even I don't say anything, the more they try to be upset. The bully has to test you to see if you belong to him. And if you get upset, you're gone. But if you don't get upset, I don't mean to fake calmness. I'm saying no reaction. He can't help himself. I don't have to say that every time. It's just there. And it is an energy. And they feel the energy and it upsets them. I'm upsetting them by just not doing nothing. But there's a something in the nothing. There's a something that comes through my nothing.
But you're something coming through to my something, my good something
Yes,
right
you
now.
can hear it.
Then you can see that. The other thing, it's like, because there's a little twitching here and there. It's like it knows that I believe, and I always thought it had power, and it has no power. I just have to let
you give it power.
Of course I did. I resented it. I wanted to be good. I wanted to be
But
good.
you want to fight back.
Yes.
See, so you have a family, a husband and wife. She does this, he fights back. She does that, so that's what she wants. Now he's degraded himself. Now she feels superior. And the more superior is, the more it pisses off, excuse the expression, the husband. The more the husband does the same thing and does harm to her. And she gives in. She hates giving in. She feels guilty for giving in. To thinking that giving in is love. It's emboldening him and making him worse. Oh, there it goes again. Bang, 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 bang. All over.
And then the children.
If you try to upset me, you will get upset because you need me to be upset to own me. That's the game. They might not know it. I know the game, if I can call it a game. There's nothing you can do or anybody to even torture. I have experienced torture for 30 years now. You don't hear me complaining. Every day, every minute. I don't run around talking about it. And all kinds of misery and sufferings and sicknesses and diseases because I was swimming in the ocean and it was poisoned. And that's where it all began. And all the doctors just misunderstanding me, and misunderstanding me made me worse. I learned all about medicine.
Well, that's your.
You really don't. If you can just get it as soon as possible, you won't have to suffer. But the people who try to make you suffer will suffer for trying to make you suffer. And you get better, and you get stronger. Every bad happens for, here it is again. Everything bad happens for good. Because when you start to fight it, one person enjoys it and wins, and thinks he won, but he has to find another person, victim. They live on victims. That's what it is, living on victims, doing unto others what was done unto you, or do unto others as you would have them do unto you is different. And that is not reacting. But you cannot stop reacting until you become still and have energy like a kind of light, electromagnetic light, that speaks to you in very much the same with purity. With purity and with no sin. It speaks through me. I can feel it speak. I have a bad memory. But look, I'm talking. But when I get home, I can't remember what avocado is.
Because your purpose here is to speak to us.
I can't remember the name.
Right.
What's the name of my grandchildren? Ooh, I can't remember it. I'm broken. You don't see it broken because you're calling something through me. I still love seeing the flowers and the bees. I still love discovering this and discovering that. It is a journey of discovering, but never learning. Never learn. You will understand. It's just if you have intuition, you have a teacher inside you. If I may put it into simple terms, he's my teacher. I don't know what he looks like. All I know is it's all gone. I don't get upset. I don't get annoyed. And it frustrates people, openly or secretly. And I have to say this, they can be so upset with me, they die. I can name 100 people mysteriously die. I didn't know it was happening. I have to say, that's what happens. I haven't done that. Revenge is mine, saith the Lord. I will pay back. God, it's real. So I didn't do that, but they all fall apart. I go on being better. Yes.
I would like to say something about this lady down here with her story about her 19-year-old lover that she has never been able to get past.
Can you stand up, because I can hear you better?
Stand up?
Yes, I
Sure, I
appreciate
will.
it. Yeah.
Her story reminded me of a television program that I saw one time where these people would have weird addictions or obsessions. And when she was telling her story, it reminded me one of these programs. A woman had fallen in love with a wall. Truly,
No, that's not-
passionately. Let me
making a
finish,
point.
please.
She's
I'm going to
making
make
a
a
point.
point on this because it's very, very good analogy.
No. You let her furnish this. She's going to tell you an interesting thing. I know what she's going to say.
She fell in love with this wall passionately. She would go and touch it and anyway, passionately fall in love.
Correct.
She came back the next day and the wall was gone. And she was so dismayed about this wall. She was so obsessed over the wall that she would live in her memory of the wall.
Correct.
She could not
She
look
had resentment.
past-
She had resentment
she
for
could-
someone taking it away. It made it worse.
Probably,
Yeah.
but that didn't go into the program because that's kind of deep right there. But she was so obsessed with the memory of this wall
That's
that
correct.
she could not see the beautiful landscape beyond it.
Correct.
Not the same thing, I'm sorry.
Yours is the same thing.
No, I don't.
Oh, yes, it is.
Well, I don't.
No,
I'll just leave it at that.
What you just said is exactly what her has in a different way.
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
is an obsession.
That's right.
It's not an obsession, I don't think about it unless I'm.
And
No,
the other-
you got
the
it.
other side of
You
this,
can't get rid of it.
too.
You just try to forget it.
This woman had made this wall her God,
That's right.
and she could not see past and beyond.
In India, they have a big penis, a huge one in marble, and they worship it.
They have thousands of things that they
That's
worship.
crazy.
It very much so.
And they
And they
make
live in
cows,
poverty.
and they make cows glorious.
Yeah, and they're all over the streets.
Or snakes.
I was there for 3 months in 2013, but they make these huge monuments and stuff and live in squalor.
Yes.
So who else?
It justifies
It kinda make-
what's wrong with them.
Yes. It
They
kind of
create
makes,
their own gods. They could be cows. They could be snakes. It could be anything. A wall. Anything.
It makes sense that the thing that ties her to that man is her resentment to losing him, because that resentment is like a glue.
Well, you can have that with a house. You can have the house falling
Yeah,
down.
because I had a similar experience with my ex-husband.
If you love your house too much, you don't want to leave it because it gives you a sense of worth. Oh, look what a wonderful house I am. I'm so happy. No, you're not. Yes.
I just have to say one word.
I know you don't want to hear what I have to say.
No, I get it.
What I'm
I
saying
do.
is everything you're saying.
I get what you're saying.
Good.
I
good.
do. Okay, I get what you're saying. However, in the Bible, it says when a man and a woman marry, have sex, whatever, they become one flesh. You do not become one flesh with a wall or a cow or
Yes, you
a
can.
statue
You can have
of,
sex with a wall.
well, you don't become,
guarantee
you
you
don't
that
you don't have the
I guarantee you, it's there.
you don't have that metaphysical bond that you do that's supposed to last forever. That's why marriage is forever.
No,
It's a
it gets better.
sacrament.
It gets
It's
better.
a sacrament.
A man who is addicted to women and sex, and he's getting more and more sex, and she's feeling more and more guilty. And then he realizes, I'm dying from this. I'm not going to do it anymore, but he does it in his memory. So he imagines, and the imagination becomes so real, he's having sex with a woman and is in a dream. It's a dream he's actually having sex.
I understand that.
In his head.
Why is divorce wrong then?
Huh?
Why is divorce wrong?
Divorce is wrong.
That's right. That's because a man and woman become one
No,
flesh.
I know it. I've been 56 years. She hasn't changed yet. I'm not going to have a divorce. I'm going to keep trying to get a C.
Can I just say one thing?
Oh, please do.
I think that you're becoming bonded with that man, but you want to be bonded with God. And you will, of course it would have been nice for you to stay with that man. Of course it would have, but you're not. So you have to let go of that allegiance to whatever that is, because if it's causing you this much pain, then it's not real. It's something wrong. And your mind is keeping you connected to that to keep you away from your stillness and away from God.
No, you see, when you are harmed, like marriage, and your little girl, little boy, or just the partner of a person who you thought was a good, and find out that he's using you and hating you and not knowing what to do, and then he runs away with another woman. It's the same principle. She resents the memory of that. And even though he's done a horrible thing and running around with other women and he's got kids, and she resents it, and the more she resents it, once she starts to resent him, she becomes guilty. The minute she judges, she becomes what he is, but more so.
I did it. My husband had an affair. I went berserk, and I then did wrong, a lot of wrong.
It's what I'm saying is true.
Yes.
But is it also possibly guilt, her guilt of what she did wrong?
Yeah, but the
When she
guilt
was-
is always there. Guilt is always there. Resentment is reviving guilt. The more you get angry at what you've done or what was made to do in your innocence, and not realizing that you're still innocent because the because got stuck a little bit. But when you are a little child and you come into the world, there is the potential of redemption. God wants you to be redeemed because of suffering. If you didn't have any suffering, you'd be a fig leaf. Mm-hmm. The suffering is what drives you to avoid it and always be right and never wrong. That's one thing. That's death, horror. But seeing that a person, like the scripture says, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Or in the Ten Commandments, honor your mother and father, that the days may be long of the land the Lord thy God giveth thee. Now, what is that? He's not asking you to forgive them. He's asking you to realize they did not know that they were doing. Maybe they didn't want to know, because the people who want to know will eventually find it. And not just for Roy Masters, but in other ways. I have been graced with a beautiful simplicity that does not work with everybody. You just have angry people say, this doesn't work. This doesn't make any sense. Oh, yes, it does. To the person who gives it a try in their hearts, they're looking for it, but not looking for it. It's different. But they will see, they'll give it a try. All of a sudden, they're seeing things differently. As a little child, unless you become as a little child, what's the rest of it?
You will no ways enter the kingdom of heaven.
Yes, there it is. Say it again.
You will no ways enter the kingdom of heaven.
That's correct. In no way enter the kingdom of heaven. That's correct. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful that you don't have to do anything. Doing anything gets in the way. Only Him can give you love. And the love comes from where the universe came from. That awareness is beyond the universe. It's where it came from. It's in your heart. And so you have Him showing you, see what I did. And you appreciate it. And each appreciation is becoming more like Him. That's all. It's a beautiful journey. Even when things go wrong, it's still beautiful. I'm better. Make it worse. If things will get worse, because as you get better, you are able to, if you were a surfer, I know what it's like to surf. I get on a board and I fall off right away. And I do it next day, and next day I still can't do it. It'd take me years. So I give up. Good for me, because I don't want to be involved with that. But the same thing with truth. You learn a little bit at a time.
It's taken me, I think I started listening to you a little over 3 years ago.
Use the mic, please.
I started listening to you again about a little over 3 years ago, and it took me just until this moment.
And this moment, what in this moment are you referring to? Come out.
To see the stillness
Can you see it?
and the beauty.
What?
The stillness and the beauty that's inside of me that is of God. I did not believe that. I didn't believe it until just, I don't know, whatever, an hour ago.
Very good.
So,
You see it? It's yours.
yes.
Oh, I see that. I never saw that before. But if you see it, you're the extension of it. It's the extension. Just seeing.
Yes.
And the seeing doesn't like to be seen.
No.
But it's trying to mess with you.
Right.
You see. And the thoughts, oh, that doesn't make any sense.
You become so free when you can see
Perceive.
that when you can see that every thing that I've ever done wrong was not
Your
me.
fault. Not your fault. It was made you think it was your fault.
It's made me think it was my fault my
Yes,
whole life, and trying to fix
Got
it
it.
is what kept me from
Got it.
God.
Got it, got it, got it.
Yeah.
You remember, I keep saying to you, with respect to what you said, I don't want you to think that what I'm saying is coming from me now.
It's a little confusing in the beginning because you're real, so I can take it from you.
Well, but you are equipped to see
Yes,
and understand.
yes,
It's a very delicate little thing, but it's beautiful.
yes.
Unless you become as a little child, you can never enter the kingdom of heaven. That little child again is still in you. All of a sudden, it's put you in a grown-up body, and you got intellect, and you got experience. Oh, that's where it went. I didn't do all these things wrong. It did it through me, and it came from my mother, who didn't understand herself, and my dad didn't understand how to deal with my mother. Oh, well, I can let that go. That's not forgiveness. Let it go.
Roy?
Yeah.
I really like what you were talking about earlier, because I've really observed that, how the light, the intuition is, you have the intuition and you have the intellect, and one is working in opposition of the other. And I saw something yesterday that it's funny how the intellect and the mind, it can be called upon at any time to give you all kinds of knowledge, and it can even give you,
No, you're missing something.
Mm-hmm.
It's always there,
Yes.
all the time. So you're always seeing what is happening, and before you know it, let's say it's a serious situation.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a big giant in front of me, and I'm not strong enough for that. I see that, and before you know, the giant's on the ground. I don't remember doing it. Huh? Did I do that? I didn't. But I was the agent of it.
Yes.
See the difference?
Yes, I do. The intuition is there. It's not. It's like a silent partner. It's there when we need it. It's
always there.
right.
It's not there when you need it. It's always there. You're always needing it.
Yes, agreed.
Every fraction of a second, you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I like these meetings a lot. I like I really appreciate that I have noticed you have less words now compared to what I've seen in the past, and I watch a lot of, I watch some stuff on YouTube on and you're talking about the church, and there's a lot of knowledge. They speak a lot of.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah, because the thing is, the thing I really appreciate about you and this, that you're actually giving us a method, that be still, where the other people.
I'm awakening to you what you already know.
You've discovered it, and you're sharing it, where the preachers and a lot of people on YouTube, they like to listen. Yeah, they like to listen to themselves talk. They're teaching, but they're not really helping anybody, because it's all.
I want you to be free from me.
Right.
I want to give you freedom from everybody, including me. And you don't need me anymore, but you can respect. It's a big difference.
Yes.
Don't put me on a pedestal.
No.
I'm not smart. I have to tell you, you can ask my wife, and Wendy often comes. I have lost my vocabulary. That glib kind of thing that I had many years ago. Mm-hmm. You can see it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of a banana. I forget the name of all my grandchildren. I find myself not being able to say what's in the refrigerator. I have to find out what the refrigerator is. It's in the refrigerator, but I can't find the word. Mm-hmm. But I know it's a refrigerator.
You're doing a pretty good job right now.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, there's less words, so it's more pointed.
But
it's
what
more...
I'm speaking now is not from the world.
Right.
That is, my vocabulary disappears and only gives me the essence of what words mean. Mm-hmm. To see beyond the word. See what the word is or is not. And if it is not, you can reject it. And rejecting is good. It doesn't make the scientists are wrong. Yeah. And they may it's just that kind of thing. It's the ability to deal every second. I can't tell you because seconds disappear. You're coming from a place where there's no seconds or minutes. It's hard to, it's magic. It's magic. I don't know I'm still alive. I've had so much suffering. But the suffering was good. Because I never resent the suffering. I just learned to suffer and not be upset about it. Different from everybody in this. You have to learn pain, suffering. I have it 24 hours a day. Burning feet from
Diabetes?
Neuropathy.
Yeah, years and years ago.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I was guilty. It was of anything. I was swimming in the canal, and it was poison. And it was 3 or 4 years. I was eating things that...
Carbohydrates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Porridge. Porridge, it's all I could eat.
Yeah.
They're not good. It's not good.
No.
And it set it up for other things. And they had to have operations and God knows what. But I'm going to just say this, because it's not, I don't want to be braggadocious. But in several situations, in the military, with gangs, I'd call them out and get the person, the chieftain, the big Ganzamacher, it's a little Hebrew there, and terrify him and make him run. And in the military, they put me in a circle, just as it happens. The sergeant major, it's a corporal, but he's doing the sergeant major's work, hates me. I don't react to him. Tension! I don't react. I just pay attention. He senses it. He senses it and is get angry and tries to make me upset. The more he tries, the more upset he gets. And he got to the point where it made it go round and round and round to the a war, kind of imagine a war with guns and blew me up. I know he did that. I went about 15 feet in the air. He had put explosive underneath where I was going.
And you stepped on it?
Yeah. Right. I went whoop up in the air. It didn't hurt me, but there was a time when he got so angry with me. He made all the people that were friends of mine in the barracks all around and took a 250, 300-pound person and put me in the middle with him. Now this is simple. What do you do with that? I'm only 150 pounds. What do I do with this? What is the solution? Do I get banged up? I'm calm. I'm there. And all of a sudden I say, let's take our tunics off. Okay. So I start to take my tunic off, and he did the same. And while he was doing it, wham! But I didn't do it. I didn't think of it. It just happened. I'm trying to say that. It just happened. He fell asleep for 2 hours. But I don't remember doing it. And it's like, what's this big deal? So it feels nothing clever. It just is. I don't know how to explain it because it's just an interesting way of saying it. I could be braggadocious with it, but I know, looking back on it, I'm only 18. How is that? And there's other things just like it. Never fail. In South Africa.
Hold up in court.
Huh?
That would never hold up in court.
No. Well, I don't know what you mean by that.
Where you say that you
Oh, yes, I know what you mean, yes.
didn't remember doing
Right.
it. And I said,
Yes,
that would
it
never
may.
hold up in court.
Yes, right. Well, I'm just saying I don't know how it happens.
Yes,
I'm not,
we understand.
yeah, it's just, how is it happening that I'm doing this? I'm not smart.
Well, excuse me, it's kind of the same thing when you're driving in a car and something is about to go wrong, and you do something to correct it.
Exactly.
It's automatic.
Well, you would have been killed.
Yeah.
You survived.
It's automatic, and you didn't know you were
Yeah,
doing
that's
it.
right. Exactly. Where somebody will be killed, you would survive. That's it. And if you have a person on the side of the road, if you deal with them properly, you extend the magic to them, where the average person would be all of a jitter and do more harm than good in trying to help that person. Or you get angry with your children and make them to clean their teeth, but in a gentle way. You'd appreciate it if you are aware, and having the awareness transfers to hit the child, and the child is relieved of the pressure that would seem to be pressure and is pressure. And that very moment, the child is a better human being. If the child on the floor and he's bleeding profusely, instead of being shaking and everything, you pick up the child, you take him into the bathroom, and stay calm. It's going to be okay. That induces faith, where with you have an emotion with it, the other way around. Just having the emotion in it, just with the feeling of the parent, has that effect of causing him to doubt and but so much of it, see, that's just one thing. But your life is, as a child, is full of that pressure, judgment, appeasement, never allowing you to be true to yourself. School is even worse. University, even more worse. Knowledge of good and evil. You, in other words, you learn the Bible from one end to the other and stand up there and everybody says, hooray, this is a wonderful person. He knows the devil knows it too. It's the knowledge of good. Your idea of good isn't good. Only God is good, as Jesus said it, didn't he? That's all I'm trying to say. I'm trying to go round and round to make simplicity, what's difficult for you, simple, of yourself. You can do nothing. Get that into your head. So when you have a thought, like this young lady here, years and years ago, the man ran away, whatever. The resentment fixes itself, your reaction fixes itself, and therefore the spirit of that person is inside you and tormenting you because you're running away and making you feel inferior, so you're going to be superior by damning the thought in your head, oh no, make yourself worse.
So is that where all the, like, just random thoughts come from? Because these people are all inside our head?
So just be a little slowly in the speech. I'm getting old.
Do you think that's where all these random thoughts come from? Is all the different spirits that are inside
Well,
the brain?
the random thought is usually the one that's you enjoy experiencing it. In other words, judgment. It gives you, even though you're degraded, even though you're in jail, even though a Jewish person is made to look like a nothing, as long as that person does not react, and not react because you have here inside you, there is no fear, the chances are that they will let you go without understanding how it is so. If you have it, that good thing I speak about, you may not know you have it. You may actually have something I had, and I didn't know I had it till years and years and years and years later. But it was still working in me all the way there, and so I eventually could see it. But it was always doing the right thing in the right way. I don't know how I was going to say something else. But it's so beautiful. In other words, the voice that speaks to you, how can I say this again? No man can worship two masters. You will respond to one or the other. The one is the dark, the one is the light. That's all. And some of us here, and me especially, because I began life with it, which is very rare. Moses had the same opportunity, not to be a broken person like the Israelites, but having the opportunity to think for himself. And then one day he woke up, and his Jewishness showed, and he killed the person that killed it, one of the Jewish people. And his whole life changed. He began to express who he is. And he could have been the king of Egypt.
But do we worship God, or do we just acknowledge him? Because it seems...
I don't know what about acknowledge. Acknowledge means I have to appreciate with acknowledge. It's really no feeling at all. Your feeling is gone. And instead of emotion like an animal in conflict with a human, that's what it is. Emotion is greater and greater and greater with an affliction which will kill you. Emotion is of the animal. And Adam, when he came out of the garden, he came into what we call the world. According to the scripture, it was 40 days and 40 nights. Something had a change in him. He still looked the same, but the driving force was animal, emotion. And emotion can be controlled by dark forces. And those dark forces can cause you to suffer and resent them for it. And if you resent them for it, then you become one of them. And when you want to become, therefore the generations grow up like that. Every nation of every color, race, and creed have the same thing. and the same intuition that says it in the same language, in the language of his understanding. The whole world, you go to pygmy world, and it's still the same. So you really got one sickness, how you deal with each other when you get married. You have to have somebody married or to bring you to life. It's got to be a person. And it doesn't matter if you're a prostitute and you give birth to a child. The child comes to the world not guilty. But when he gets aware enough to see injustice, that's when it enters. Because you cannot, the only thing he can see is injustice. And he reacts in his little childly way. But he still has that future. He has to find you as a little child. You have to find that little child. And how does it go?
Otherwise, you'll no ways enter the kingdom of heaven.
There it is. It's in all of you. You have it. I'm trying to get you to see you don't have to do anything. You already have it. You have it when you were born. It's just temporary. You suffer. And you try to fix yourself. But you're listening to the dark side. The dark side is talking to you. And you think it's you. It's you have to do what it says. Or what you think it says. Or you think you're saying it.
I think that kind of ties into something I want to talk to you
What?
about. That is that energy that's always behind me. I feel as if it's always pushing me to do things.
Well, that's what you need to look at. Mm-hmm. Stop. See the push. Goes away.
It takes constant awareness of what I'm doing.
Well,
Otherwise it's always pushing me, and I get tired.
You missed it. Awareness is the cure.
Yes, I agree. with that.
I see this. You disconnect.
Yes.
You
I
disconnect what
absolutely
a bit
understand that, yeah.
otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
See? Yeah. I wish I had. We're going over and over and over again. I think we've had unless we have some very special question, we'll close our seminar for the moment. Thank you very much. And those of you who are listening to me on radio or whatever, where you hear me, support the program so we can reach millions and millions of people of every race and color and creed. We want to go out and spread that so that I think this is what it means into the end of this world. It comes a time, if I can remember the last words of the Bible, not the Jesus one. There comes a time. Let's see if I can remember it. And somehow it reads like this: I shall bring the children to the fathers, and the fathers to the children. For if that doesn't happen, I will smite thee with whatever that smite is.
The love of the children for the Father, return the love of the children for the Father.
That's right.
Yeah.
See how it is happening today.
Yeah.
We're losing, the children are losing their fathers, etc., etc. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.